we're wired for growth. We're wired to want more for ourselves, but at the same time, we're not wired for change. We're actually wired to stay the same.
And changes are the only things that are constant.
Exactly.
Because you're changing since you're born, growing, start university, when you move to a new country, when you get a new job. Life is a constant change.
Yes.
And we struggle with it.
One of the ways that I like to describe this is that our nervous system is loyal to who we are, not to who we're becoming. Our past experience, if we're on autopilot, isn't going to get us there.
Even the most confident person has these times of doubt. We can doubt about ourselves, especially when we're coming to a new country. Welcome to You Multicultural Channel. I'm Jocelyn Gilbert, and today at the Newcomer Network, we are going to have an amazing conversation with our friend Kim. Hi Kim, how are you?
Hi Jocelyn, I'm great. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming. And I always give the opportunity to my guests to introduce themselves with the audience. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Kim Mintenko, and I work with leaders and founders. I'm a coach, and I help guide them through these moments of doubt you mentioned. Really what I help them do is overcome self-doubt, overthinking, hesitation, so they can make cleaner decisions, have clearer conversations, and really experience more connected to purpose joy in their work.
I always like to go on the root. Why do you think those things happen to us?
Oh, because we're human. Very seriously, it sounds like a funny answer, but the truth is that we're wired for growth. We're wired to want more for ourselves, but at the same time, we're not wired for change. We're actually wired to stay the same. And that's what we're going to talk more about today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And changes are the only things that are constant.
Exactly.
Because you're changing. Since you're born, you're changing, growing from one stage to another. When you start university, when you move to a new country, when you get a new job, life is a constant change.
Yes.
And we struggle with it.
Yeah. So that you just touched on something really important. The change that I really love to support people with is when we are in those moments where our visibility is expanding, our leadership, or we're facing risk. Those are moments that what we're going to talk about today really helps us to understand what's going on. Why are those things so hard for us? And what can we do to move through them?
What can we do?
Do you want to get right to the what can we do?
Yes, I want to. It's only 30 minutes.
I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little background first, because I feel like if I go right to, I have a system, and if I go right to the system, we might miss some of the why these pieces matter. So I just want to frame it first, if that's okay with you.
Yes, for sure.
So why these things are difficult. Choose an example for me of the things I said: visibility, leadership, or risk. What comes up for you?
Okay, I want to share something personal.
Okay, perfect. I love it.
I started a new business, and I hesitate on making certain decisions that I am so sure that they will work, but for some reason, I can't.
You have that's such a beautiful example. You've just described it so perfectly. Notice you said you're so sure that they can work. I suspect you're also so sure that it's what you want. Yeah, but I can't. So what's going on in that space of I can't? Basically, the moment you've described is one where our system recognizes it as a danger. Okay, so if we just step back for a moment, we are wired to stay alive. That is the one job our beautiful nervous system has, that it never pauses on, keeping us alive. And so when we see a danger, maybe it's a bear, maybe it's, you've taken a step onto the street, but there's a car coming. We don't have to stop and go into our thinking brain to decide that we need to step back off the street. We just do that so fast. That's
Yeah.
an immediate response. Okay. In that moment, the part of us that is designed to keep us alive has recognized danger, react, we're out. Well, that same physiological response happens when we are stepping out of what's familiar to us now. One of the ways that I like to describe this is that our nervous system is loyal to who we are, not to who we're becoming. And in your new business, it's challenging you to become someone that's outside of what's already familiar to you. I'm guessing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that those things you want to do that you just can't are things that aren't familiar to you already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, doing them would just be probably quite simple. But there's this whole mechanism at play that's saying, whoa, danger, even though it's not a real danger, the system doesn't know the difference. And so that fear response happens. This is unfamiliar, it's a danger, whew, pull her out of the street. Okay,
Yeah.
Stop her. And so you might be curious, how does it stop us? What does it do? Well, you can tell me what's familiar to you from this list. And this isn't an all-inclusive list, but some of the things that it does is create self-doubt. So we go into overthinking. Instead of just acting, now we're thinking it through and, oh, well, and indecisive maybe. Procrastination shows up.
I will send that resume tomorrow.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, I'll send it tomorrow.
I love it. Okay, so we can now probably get then into the system if you want, because just saying I will send it tomorrow is great. You've made a decision.
Yeah, but tomorrow, I say again, I'll send it tomorrow.
Aha. You're so wise, Jocelyn.
I
Exactly.
will study English next month.
Okay, you're nailing
Next
it.
month?
You're nailing it.
Next month.
Yeah, okay, right.
Oh, no, you know what? My stomach hurts.
Mm.
I'm not feeling well, and I'm getting sick.
Yeah.
I cannot go to the English class.
Yeah.
But I think it's not I'm getting sick. It's my
Right.
brain.
You got it. You nailed it right there. It's called resistance. That's the simple word I like to use for it. And it shows up in a number of forms. You've described some of them very well there. We make excuses, but there can be just distraction. All of a sudden, I think I'm too busy, or something else is more interesting to me. That can be a form of resistance. It can be your motivation going up and down. One day, like you said, you feel super motivated. Yes, I'm going to do this. And the next day, the motivation's gone. We can't rely on motivation, right? So there's these different, I have to share one more because this is my brain's favorite form of resistance. It's confusion.
Oh.
Yeah, all of a sudden, well, gee, I'm not sure if I want to do that or how I want to do that. Or do I even know how to do that? Like it can come up in different ways. Will the yeah, right. Oh, that's an example of the confusion,
or this
right?
or that.
Right, I thought you were asking me.
No,
It works to stop me. Yes, that's what you were asking. But yeah, absolutely. We're questioning it and we're just not sure of ourselves. And it can be very convincing. Resistance is very convincing.
Wow.
We don't even know it's happening. But suddenly it's next month, it's next month, it's next month.
We have had a few conversations, and I really enjoy when you're talking about the brain because I had the opportunity to learn about the brain, and what I understand is that when you leave that part of the brain that handles the emotions, that manages the emotions, you are not able to think because it's that part of the brain that it's
driving
you, like
right. And when it's driving you, what do you think it's using to decide where to go? It's using your fear, past experience. So it's using the patterns and habits it already has from your past experience. And we already know that that's not a reliable way to get us where we want to go. When it comes to a new business or living in a new country and trying new things, our past experience, if we're on autopilot, isn't going to get us there. Yeah.
And what when you're experiencing a difficult relationship with someone too, for example, at the workplace, you start struggling with that, and that's what that doubt come from.
what I see most commonly with the leaders I work with around that particular topic is avoidance. It doesn't feel or safe. That's my language. Maybe they don't feel confident going into that conversation because there's a lot of unpredictable pieces. There are a lot of unpredictable pieces there. How will the other person react? Will they become confrontational? Will I know how to answer if they have a question? Are they going to be really upset with what I have to say? And you can see right away that we're outside of what's already familiar to us, and fear is running. The brain is asking all of these questions about how am I going to face that? So what do you think is going to happen? Is that person going to go have that conversation?
No.
No, not until they feel properly equipped to handle every scenario, which is not the approach I suggest, because there's no way we can possibly be ready for any scenario. What we want to actually bring ourselves to is self-trust. In that scenario and in all of the, anything you can imagine around what we're talking about, we want to bring ourselves to a place of self-trust where we know, yeah, there's unknowns where I'm going, whether it's a conversation, a new business, whatever, there are unknowns. And I fully trust myself to be able to respond in a way, that keeps me connected to my vision, that keeps moving me forward, that allows me to do this in a really in a way that's within my integrity and my values and so on. Self-trust in our ability to navigate whatever comes.
And how can we develop that self-trust?
I'm so glad you
that
asked.
Self-trust.
Yeah, that brings us right back to the method that I want to share with you today for how to navigate these moments when there's something we know we want but I can't. I just keep putting it off. I'm avoiding it, whatever the case is for you. So we start by noticing. So I'll give you a simple, set of steps. Notice is step one. And what this means is we want to become sort of like the best detective of ourselves, almost to the point where we can imagine this hologram version of ourselves just watching us lovingly, compassion, no judgment here. There's absolutely no judgment in this observation that I'm describing that we bring to help us notice. It's really just a curious, like I said, kind of like a detective, a curiosity. Oh, isn't that interesting that I said I wanted to learn another language and I was going to enroll, but I didn't? Isn't that interesting that I know I need to have that conversation with my colleague? It was on my calendar a week ago, and I haven't had it yet. So this is the noticing. It might even be noticing how your body feels in a moment where you have stepped outside of the familiar and then maybe come back, hesitated, or maybe you've stepped out and you just want to notice in that moment. So we're noticing our behavior and we're noticing how we feel. And we're just getting to know ourselves. What does it feel like when I hesitate to take that step, when I'm in doubt of myself? And the more we learn about what our own experience feels like, the more able we are to use that feeling, that sensation, that noticing as sort of a marker, something to say, oh, hey, I'm here. I'm here in this moment where I have stopped many times before. So we're getting to know ourselves.
But for example, I am coming from I won't say it's a cultural thing because I don't know if that happens here, but I'm not coming from a background that people tend to do that self-awareness and think about how I feel, what I feel in my body, why, like self-reflection, that self-reflection. Yeah. How can we start with that? Like that self-awareness?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. And I get you're saying I don't come from a culture that does that, but I
won't say it's a culture because I don't know if
right, because I kind of feel like it's all of us. That, many of us, my generation here, we weren't raised to be self-aware, to pay attention to how it felt. We were more raised to push through, suck it up and do it anyway, sort of attitude, right? So they think this is new for a lot of us.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my answer gently is let's not make the fact that this isn't something we're used to mean that it might be hard or that we don't know how to do it, or let's just what would make it be simple for you is a good question to ask yourself. I want to start noticing myself. How can I make this a habit? I want to start noticing how I feel, particularly when I'm not taking the steps I know I want to take. So maybe it becomes, why don't you tell me what's something that comes to your mind when I ask you what would make it easy for you?
What would make it easy for
Easy
you?
for you to create this new habit, to remember that you want to check in and see how it feels when you didn't send in the resume, for example.
Self-reflection, writing.
Yeah, writing. Okay,
Writing.
for some people, writing is very powerful. So maybe you already have a writing habit, but let's say we have people in the audience who don't have a habit. You want to build that into your life in a way that it fits in with something you're already doing. So this is habit stacking, it's called. It's a well-known strategy for building in something new. So perhaps it's, before you go to bed every night, that's something you do every day. First thing when you wake up in the morning, as you're having your coffee, build it into a time of your day when you can attach it to something you regularly do. And I would say that's going to be your path to success on starting to build this habit of checking in with yourself. Maybe it's every time you go to the washroom, you look in the mirror.
Write
and
a note.
Maybe a sticky note on the mirror or on your desk, on your monitor. I have sticky notes on my monitor for things like this, right? We want to just check in with ourselves. You can even use your phone and set just a little alarm to ring 5 times a day. Oh, I want to check in with myself right now. How am I doing? So what would make it easy for you to create this habit? Yeah.
So is this the first part of the model?
That's the first part, is notice.
Notice.
Okay.
Notice.
You got it. All right, the second part is critical. We don't skip any of the parts, by the way, but we really don't skip this one. Anytime that our body, our system is going into a fear response, which is the whole mechanism that's stopping us, we need to make it feel safe again. That is our job, our responsibility. Again, not something we were raised and taught to do, right? So this in itself is going to be another unfamiliar piece. But I have a couple of ways to bring that safety to your body. And what I mean when I say that is we're regulating the nervous system. We're bringing the nervous system back into a parasympathetic state, which when we're there, we have access to our inner wisdom, our creativity. I mean, there's a natural confidence there because we're connected to who we really are. So it's really critical that we bring ourselves back into that safety body out of what you might call otherwise a survival body. Okay, are you game to play with me? Do you want to try a few?
Let's see.
Okay. They're really, really simple and not things that are that you're not...
Don't do any dangerous thing.
Nothing dangerous. Of course, we're creating safety. Okay, let's start with breathing. The breath is our free, available to us always. It always works, no fail method for bringing regulation and that sense of safety to the body. Okay, the first one we're going to do is 4-7-8 breathing. So 4-7-8. You're actually bringing up a really important point. When we are used to kind of holding ourselves, protecting ourselves, being a little bit on guard, our lung capacity might not fully be there. So 4-7 is the hold and 8 is the breath out. 4 is the breath in, but it might feel tight for some. I just want to reassure you, we're not going to judge that. Whatever your body's ready for is perfect, and it's going to expand the more you do it.
Okay.
Okay.
4 seconds
4
inhaling,
seconds in, 7 holding, 8 exhale.
Okay,
And
let's do it.
You can exhale, you can inhale through your nose, you can exhale however you want.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to count down. That way you always see where we're going a little better. Okay. So inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do a couple rounds of that as part of the practice. What did you notice? Tell me what you're feeling.
More relaxed.
More relaxed just with one round. So imagine you repeated that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Or the key is you repeat it as many times as you need to until you get the sensation you want, which is that sense of calm and safe in your body. Okay, another one, and I use this one at my desk. So this is a great one for people who are, maybe in leadership roles at their desk, and you just have that sense of being dysregulated, more reactive than you want to be, and avoiding those conversations we talked about. Shaking. So you can just shake out your arms. Shake with me, Jocelyn, if you will. I'm inviting you. Shake your wrists. You can shake your arms, your upper body. You can get up and dance. If you have the space where that feels safe to you, you can get up and shake your body or dance. Any kind of movement in the body is releasing that tension that we're holding when we don't feel safe. So it seems so simple, but sometimes I will just sit at my desk and give myself a moment to just truly let the tension move. And I can feel it moving out from my inner body just with that little amount of shaking we did here. The last one I want to tell you about, also very easy to do, and you can do it almost anywhere if you're comfortable, is humming.
Humming?
Humming. So when we hum, the vibration that's going through the body is toning the vagal nerve, which is exactly what we need to bring us into that parasympathetic state. When the vagal nerve is toned and calm and relaxed, we are in our safety body. So would you like to do one with me? I'll guide you through it. So we're going to do an inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to let the air come out with a hum sound. We don't have to sound good. It doesn't matter how it sounds. I'm not a confident singer, but I'm a confident hummer. So just to let you know.
Can you?
I can demonstrate once for you, sure. I could see the hesitation on your face. That's why.
Yeah, okay. It's the first. I have done the breathing, the shaking.
You've done the shaking, but this one is like, new for me. Okay. So I'll just start with a deep breath in. That's it.
No way.
Yeah. And then, of course, I would do it a couple of times. You can do it in the shower. You can do it when you're driving. You can do it anywhere. And if you're doing it at your desk and your colleague asks, well, then you have an opportunity to share this with them.
Oh, interesting.
Would you like to try it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do the breath in together. What do you notice inside when you're humming?
I felt something here.
Describe something.
I don't know how to describe it.
The vibration?
So relaxed in here.
Okay, yeah. And how does it feel to feel so relaxed in here?
Oh, much better.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we've noticed, and then we've brought safety to the body. We have 2 steps.
Very interesting. So those are things that we can do during those challenging times.
There's 2 more steps.
Oh, more?
Yeah, I was leading you up for more. Yeah, so you can see already that you've created an environment that is more prepared, and tell me if not, but I sense you've created an environment within yourself that is more prepared to take action. But what's that action, right? And we don't want to do that pushing through things. So the 3rd step is a check-in with yourself. It's a check-in with that part of you that you described at the beginning of our conversation that knows what she wants. She knows what she wants, and she knows what she wants to do. We want to connect to that. We want to connect to that, what's motivating us, what's driving us forward, what is in our heart, why does it matter to us? So we just want to get really clear on that. And so if we used your example of, which example, the resume example, would you?
Oh, I gave you many
Yeah.
many examples.
So we'll use
the
that one.
resume, the English classes.
The English classes. Let's use that, the English classes. If you were to ask yourself, if you're pausing and connecting with your truest self in this moment, what do you know about those English classes and why you want to take them? So you would investigate that space. I don't know if this is true for you, so I don't know if you can find it.
No, it's not true for me.
Okay.
I'm thinking about
it's an
someone.
Example. Okay, so we'll run with it.
Someone
and the
else.
people watching can connect for that moment. Yeah, why does this matter to me? Why do I have this desire? Okay, and then we'll go to the fourth step. And the fourth step is to take action. You've made a decision about what you want. You've created the environment, the safety in your body to be able to take that action. And now it's important to hold yourself accountable. No one else is going to come and do it for you. When it comes to your growth and desires, whether that's as a business owner, a newcomer in a new country, or a leader, your nervous system doesn't care about your growth. It's not going to make sure that you go do that thing you really want to do, that you launch that business, that you take that English lesson. In fact, I mentioned at the beginning, your nervous system is loyal to who you are today.
Yeah.
It's loyal to keeping you alive as you exist today. But we're wired for growth and we want more.
Yeah.
We want more for ourselves. And that's where this fourth step, acting, is really critical. All of the other stuff without taking action, it's nice, it feels good, but it's not moving us forward. So we need that action piece. I will just say that this isn't a one and done system. This is a circle. And it's important when you take that action to stay in noticing, to stay in your safety body, that sense of regulation. And if you're not, then you're responsible for bringing yourself back to it. So it's a circular system.
Wow. So let's summarize.
Okay.
Let's see if I learned a little bit.
I would love to hear it.
You start with the noticing. Notice your body, how you feel in your body, why. And then the self-regulation techniques could be the breathing, the shaking, the humming. Am I doing good?
You're doing great.
And the next one is check-in. No.
Yeah, check in with yourself.
Check in
yeah,
with yourself.
With that truest version of you, right? Your higher self, you might call it, the part of you that's connected to the desire.
And if I'm not wrong, the next one is the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Proceed.
Proceed. Take action.
Take action.
And if that feels like, if you feel your body reacting just to me saying take action, ask yourself, what's the smallest step I can take here to take action in that direction? And then we signal to the body, oh yeah, I'm committed to this.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just looking up the class. Okay, yep, I did that part. What's my next small step? And so on.
Thank you so much, Kim.
You're welcome.
And to my wonderful audience, apply for the job. Go to that event. Send a resume. Do it.
Beautiful. Do the thing.
Thank you, Kim, for your time. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for being there at the You Multicultural channel. And remember, this is the Newcomer Network. We are all the time bringing new episodes and lots of information and amazing topics for everyone to learn, because I learn every time I have a guest here. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.